An incredible lesson that you and I can take from Isaac Newton on creative leadership is his willingness to let his curiosity, let his imagination go, to let it take him down paths. And he'd use those two things, his curiosity and his imagination, to run experiments, whether they were real physical experiments or just thought experiments. As an example, there was a fair in Cambridge, and one day Newton at the fair saw a prism for sale. And at that point, prisms were considered just toys for children. But Newton bought the prism, took it back to his room, and immediately shut the curtains, allowing just enough light through that he could guide that light through the prism and see what it did. Then Newton took a piece of cardboard, cut a slit out of that piece of cardboard, and used that slit to guide the light both into the prism and to affect the light after it passed through the prism. And he decided he would filter out the light going into the prism turned into a rainbow. He would filter out all of the light from that prism to just one of the bands, to just the red band. And as he did this, he started to ask the question. He said, what if I put another prism there? So he went and bought another prism, and he experimented with the light going through one prism, then turning into a rainbow, then going into the other prism and turning back into white light. Then he took his cardboard piece of paper with a slit and cut off all of the light, leaving that first prism except for the red, and then saw that that second prism did not turn the red light all back into white. It just reflected and refracted that red light. And Newton started to think maybe all of the colors in the spectrum are in white light, are present in white light. Newton then went on to make a little toy, almost a top out of paper with colors of the rainbow drawn on that top. And then he would spin the top and notice that the colors disappeared and turned into white light. And he verified his thought, his experiment, that maybe all the colors of the rainbow of the spectrum are present in white light. Another thought experiment that Newton conducted. He'd ask himself, if there were a cannon on a high mountain and I could put enough gunpowder in that cannon to fire a cannonball so quickly at such a velocity that the cannonball drops towards the earth at the same rate that the round earth rotates away from that cannonball, would the cannonball stay in continuous flight or orbit above the earth? And Newton, with that thought experiment, started to explore the way bodies can orbit another body. How we put satellites into orbit today, how planets orbit around the sun or moons orbit around planets. A thought experiment. Can you let your imagination go a little more? Can you let your curiosity affect you? And are you willing to run some experiments?